Welcome, everyone, to the January 29, 2025 City of Broussard Council meeting. Please remember to adjust your microphones and speak into them so you can be heard clearly on our broadcast for the viewers at home. If anyone in our audience would like to make a comment on an item listed on our agenda, please fill out a blue card located in the back of the room and turn it into our city's clerk. Each speaker will be given a maximum of 3 minutes. Please rise for the pledge. Please welcome Pastor Gabe Smith from Our Savior's Church of Broussard to lead us in our prayer.
Let's close our eyes and bow our heads. Father, thank you for how you have blessed the community of Broussard. God, I thank you for the leadership of this city. I thank you, God, for those that keep our city safe. Lord, I also pray in this moment, just like Jesus said, may your kingdom come and your will be done. I pray that your kingdom would continue to flourish and grow in the community of Broussard, and you would give us wisdom so that your will is done in the city, what you want to happen for its inhabitants, for its people. And I pray that as we as a city honor you, you would bless us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Item 2.1, acceptance of the minutes of the January 14th, 2025 regular meeting. Do we have a motion to accept?
Second.
The minutes were supplied in the council's packet. Tina, do you have public comment?
No public comment.
Council discussion?
Question. District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
At large?
Yay.
Motion approved.
Other business, item 3.1, Mr. Francis Touchette and possibly Kate LeBou, Lafayette Parish School Board, our superintendent, Mr. Touchette, welcome.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, board members. Again, thank you for allowing me to come and share the things that are going on in Lafayette Parish. As I promised, I'm going to come to you 3 times a year. I'm going to make sure that you're updated. You'll have an opportunity to ask questions on anything that you may have as far as the school district is concerned. A couple of different things that I want to make sure that you and the members of the public are aware of, and I'm sure you guys have seen us on TV. You've heard a lot of different things that are going on. We went through a district optimization in which we had someone come in from outside and kind of look at everything that we're doing as far as how we're spending money, what are we doing as far as spending money, and so on and so forth. They came with 14 different recommendations. The board at a November 20th meeting voted on some of those recommendations, but yet did not go through with all of those recommendations. As a result of all of that, certain things that I want to make sure that you guys are aware of that. We will be rezoning students from LJ Alamo to Broussard Middle. We're going to be taking some kids that are going to be coming into LJ Alamo, so we have to take some kids out of LJ Alamo, so we'll be rezoning some kids to Broussard Middle. We're going to be rezoning kids out of Catherine Drexel, and we're going to be moving kids to Ernest Gallet. Catherine Drexel will be a pre-K site that will be for everything on the east side of the river, okay? We're going to make sure that we split the parish into 2. We have an east and a west, and we're going to create a pre-K zone to where we have parents that are able to come, and this will be something like we already have at Truman Elementary. Those are 2 of the different things that I think that affects you and things that I think that parents need to know. We're in communication with parents. We're setting up to make sure that kids are aware, parents are aware. We're going to have places to where they're going to come and be able to meet their new principals, and we're going to make sure that that goes as smooth as possible. The other thing that I really want to kind of make sure that the mayor and the council is aware of is that we have a really good working relationship with your chief. Your chief of police has been overly helpful, him and his staff, and helping with situations, going and making house calls and doing things. And I just want to thank him publicly. I want to thank his entire staff. We have SROs that are in our schools, in every one of our schools, because safety is important. And his guys at those particular schools do an excellent job, and they're always willing to help, always willing to answer our calls. So, Chief, thank you so much. The last thing that I really want to kind of just talk to you guys about is what our next steps are. just as what you see that is going on nationwide, is I am looking at, the board made decisions on November 20th. I am scrubbing the budget and I'm looking at every line item in a $670 million budget. We will cut where we need to cut. And the one question that I will tell you, I will ask the question to anybody that works for me, is this a return for our investment? If we don't see that this is a return for our investment, we're cutting it. And we're going to do that. And those are things that we're going to do to be fiscally responsible. I have three things that I want to be able to bring to Lafayette Parish in the 25-26 school year. Number one, we will raise starting teacher salaries to $50,000. We're at $47,600 right now. We should be paying more for starting teachers. So if starting teachers are getting $50,000, everybody else is going to get salary increases. The second thing, we will incentivize pay. We will pay the teachers that are working in the classrooms, and we're going to make sure that the results they get with our kids, we're going to pay them. So we're going to pay them their salary. For certain courses, ELA, math, science, and social studies, kindergarten 1 through 5, those courses that it's hard for teachers to, the work is there. We're going to pay them extra to get into those classrooms, and we're going to pay them on the back end when they produce as far as kids are concerned. So it's incentivized pay. You want to call it merit pay. We need to pay our people where we need to be. If we're going to be the best school district in the state of Louisiana, we need to show it that we're taking care of the teachers that are in the classroom. And the third thing that I really want to kind of talk to you about is what I started off with. We will be fiscally responsible with the taxpayers' dollars. We will cut where we need to cut, and we're going to make sure that we prioritize, again, go back, $50,000 incentive pay. So that concludes my report to you guys as far as Lafayette Parish is concerned, school system. Again, Chief, thank you so much for your partnership. Mayor, thank you for always willing to talk. Even when we see each other outside of business, we're always conversating about different things to be able to help our system. I'll take some questions from you guys or anything that you need clarity from me, and I can kind of help those.
Mr. Tucci, I have one question. Broussard Middle, you said you're bringing students over from a redistricting from a outside, another school, and then Catherine Drexel changing the purpose of the school. So Broussard Middle is going to accommodate all those students and has capacity to do so?
Yes, so there is capacity at Broussard Middle. Again, LJ Alamo kind of somewhat comes close to. All we're going to do is we're going to carve that out and we're going to bring kids in. If the board would have went and we would have closed Como and we would have created Como as a career center, which was the plan, every kid at Broussard would become in the South Side. But we didn't do that, so we now still are back to where some of our kids that go to Broussard are not going to necessarily go. They're going to be zoned to different areas that are going to be in the Lafayette area. So we're going to continue to work with that. I know that that's hard to stomach, that certain kids go to Broussard and certain kids go to Southside and certain kids don't. But what I'll tell you is that it makes me a little nervous about Catherine Drexel because it's a pre-K, which means that you can't determine how many parents are going to put their kids in pre-K. What I will tell you is that we are going to push, and we're having a very active push as far as making sure that parents know that this is an option. This is a free option. This is something in which they can send their kids to. And we want to fill Catherine Drexel with pre-K. We're going to really do a lot of renovations. We're going to make it a pre-K site. We're going to make sure that it's safe. It looks like we're going to tear down some different things that we need to really make it presentable for when people come to that site to know that this is where early education is taking place. Any other questions?
Just real quick. Francis, thank you for bringing up the incentivized pay for the teachers. As you know, my wife, of course, is a teacher in the public school system here in Lafayette. And I'm just going to say that their work does not end on Friday afternoon. Their work goes Saturday, Sunday, dealing with the parents, dealing with, doing their lesson plans and whatever else. But to be able to do that for them, I think is gonna better the education. No doubt. They're gonna want to go to work and they're gonna want to do better. So that's a good thing.
You got to also understand that just like in your businesses that you run here in Broussard or in individual businesses, There are going to be some people that are going to be happy. There's going to be some people that are not going to be happy. But I can tell you this, I'm in those schools and I see who's doing the hard work. Again, that PE teacher and that coach and that ag teacher and all, what I'm saying is that ELA, that math teacher, that science teacher, that chemistry teacher, listen, that's where the rubber meets the road. Those individuals are busting their tail. It is time for us to make sure that we are paying those individuals that are really putting our kids in a position to be successful after school. So thank you for that. Thank you all so much.
Next on our agenda is a presentation only. Presentation of St. Julian Park expansion of pickleball facility plans by architect Mr. Russell Tronhall, our civil engineer Walter Como, and on the Veterans Memorial portion of the project, architect Brian Boudreau. And I believe Mr. Russell Tronhall is our lead, and the slides will be for you first, Mr. Russell.
Good evening. Last minute presentation notification, but pull it off. Russell Tronhall with Tronhall Architecture and Planning. I think most of you guys and gals know of us and our firm. We were brought in to expand both the tennis portion of the existing facility, bring in new restrooms, bring in pickleball and as well as pro shop and concessions to this area. In conjunction with that, we have the new parking lot to bring parking to this end of the park. And then from there, bleed over into the new projects that are across the street as well. Project's kind of grown a little bit from first inception, which it was going to just be a pro shop, serve as a kind of a gateway into the tennis facility. And with the expansion and popularity of pickleball, Mr. Jamie and the mayor and the committees have really looked into that and seen that as a huge revenue generator. So that portion of the facility has really expanded. A lot of research went into it, a lot of input from the committee and mayor and from Jamie as well. We have taken the existing basketball court, we've expanded that out and put a covering over that particular facility area so that during rain and hot summer days, they could play in that area. We've expanded additional courts, moving back towards the baseball area. We've got the number up to about 24 courts, which is, with Jamie's research, is really kind of the sweet spot to really bring in big tournaments into the facility. We do have 2 additional tennis courts at the very end. We've got storage. We have developed as well a concession area for the facility. On the second level of the pro shop, we have a viewing area. We've done a lot of software 3D generated views to make sure that from the deck area, the observation deck area, that we can see both down into the existing tennis courts over the screens, wind screens on those fence lines, as well as underneath the canopy structures down into the pickleball court areas as well. Project's still ongoing. We are entertaining doing some type of entry into the facility to kind of mark, because we've got a lot of exits that come around. You're going from the parking area back around the existing basketball courts to the entry point. We'll review that further with the committee and see if that's something that they still want to move forward with. Right now, we have expanded the concrete area as you enter into this intersection. I think Mr. Jeff had mentioned possibly kind of reducing and going maybe to turf or maybe even to grass areas to try and control some costs for us, just to reduce a little bit of the hard surfacing that's in that area. We're entertaining that as well. But that's kind of where we are right now. We are about 75 to 80%, maybe a little bit further than that, on the construction drawings for the facility. It is still a bit of a moving target as we do our budget analysis for the facility. And again, we have further meetings with the committee just to make sure that we are providing something that is within our within the city's budget, but that kind of answers the needs for the pickleball and additional tennis courts for the facility. We can. So we can, Ariel, this kind of helps explain a little bit. So moving from the left, the top left, the first square, if you will, is kind of a partly shaded. We're seeing the roof, but that is where the existing tennis basketball courts are. So it's 2 basketball courts. We've expanded. We're expanding out on the post tension slab to increase for another. That's from what Jamie is explaining to me right now, is that that's probably going to be kind of the championship court area, as he sees it at this time. There's a little bit more space in there, just because we're conforming to the existing basketball court footprint. It leaves us a little bit more space for a little bit more bleacher area to really, you can kind of view within that space, and we're covering that area. The next structure to the right, that's our large covered pickleball area. Kind of hard to see without the pickleball. Can we move to the next slide? I'm not sure if it gives us a little bit better view. Next. And forgive me, I didn't put this set together. So our entry, let's go to the next. So this is our larger court structure. Courts down, there's a double set of courts. We're seeing one set here. There's going to be a double set of courts, a large viewing area down the center with bleachers. All of this is covered, roof-mounted lights. We're going to have a few fans within there to kind of keep the heat down during that area. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. And you can see a little bit more how this straddles. So it's a large metal building structure. The columns that run down the center are kind of that large pathway that moves back and forth. We've had some input. I think the mayor had spoken to some other people that have done dealing with pickleball, that we've got some, I don't want to say generous areas, but we have thought about one of the big things dealing with pickleball is the younger players, the really competitive players that are moving from town to town and going to these events. Most of these courts are done right to the regulation size. It doesn't allow for them, they're younger, they're running faster, that run out distance beyond the court side, so they'd like a little bit extra space. So we've listened to our consultants, listened to the information that the mayor and the committee has given to us. We've given a little bit more space in there. Makes it a little bit more of a popular destination for pickleball in the way it's set up. So even though we're meeting regulation, by adding just another foot really kind of makes it a little bit more advantageous for those players. We'll move to the next. This is the pro shop and observation deck. Very similar to what's at the baseball fields now. So we've got the same type of structure coming up. We've got our deck system. We've got a few fans upstairs, plenty of places for tables. We're using the same type of railing system that's there now, very low maintenance. It's not a painted system, aluminum as it goes through. Downstairs, CMU structure, load bearing. I've got a concrete deck. Inside, we've got pro shop, storage area for them to be able to do racquetball structures, a few offices, and then we've got our restrooms towards the back of the facility. Next. Adjacent to it, not a pretty building, very simple. It started out as just a general storage building to house the mules and carts and extra overflow storage for the facility. We have now that space is kind of modified to where we can bring in concessions. So we're building the space. We're not paying, the city is not paying for the equipment going inside. I think the contract right now that's being negotiated with Bonton Grill that currently services the facility would bring in their own equipment and their own furniture to work and serve the court system from within that building. On the back side, again, we still left enough space for the storage that Jamie and the staff need within that facility. And again, from observation deck, very similar to what's there now at the baseball field, just a smaller footprint. Next. And then we shot a number of shots, so you can see the larger structure here. We can still see clear through that facility. The pro shop building currently is set right now. It's kind of in the center section of the existing row of tennis courts. So we're still taking advantage of being able to see from the central point back to the tennis courts itself, but then also be able to see back into the covered areas as well as the remainder of the pickleball courts. Next. And again, just a few more shots is good. So we can see straight over, and then we did this. No, just kidding. But that's pretty much it. But that's pretty much it for us. Anybody have any questions? Thank y'all very much. Mayor? Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry, thank you. Site work would be kind of more in his purview, and there's an intention of digging a pond at the park. So you want to kind of explain all of that? Well,
Sure. So our part of this is going to be we're going to do the site prep for Russell's project. And I think when we started looking at grading the site, we're 3 to 4 feet of fill is where we're at. Our current plan is there's a kind of right across the street from where this facility is, there's a low area with a bunch of trees. That was always intended to be a pond, and as a matter of fact, we had had an agreement with, the Beal companies in exchange for some things they did for us, that we would make that a pond, and they would be able to use the pond as some of their drainage credits. And that goes back a long time ago. So the current plan is to, dig the pond, use the dirt to build up the pad for it, for this facility. And then we're gonna take care of the parking lot. That'll be our project. We'll be working, for Russell to do all the interior drainage and whatever civil engineering he works within the site, other than the dirt work. So we're gonna bring up the dirt pad. We do not know yet. We've ordered a salt boring. We don't know if the material in the pond is gonna be suitable for this. That's what we're hoping for, because it'll save a lot of money. And we're still kind of working through some of that. Also, if you look at that drawing,
Jamie, is there a slide showing the pond and all of that in that presentation?
did we have one here? Let me see. Right, no, it didn't include it. Let me go back to the first one so I can kind of orient it all a little bit better. So if you look kind of across the street from where the building is, you get into that low area, and there's a little ridge of trees, and on that ridge of trees, we are going to put the Veterans Memorial, which was something that's been a concept that David Bernard did years ago.
Can you see that well?
Huh?
So that's the
Yeah,
sidewalk coming
that'll
out
be-
to it,
that'll
right?
be the
There'll
side.
a road crossing here.
So let me advance you to the drawing of the Veterans Memorial. That's the Veterans Memorial. So you would come in from the right-hand side going left, you'd walk down this sidewalk, and at the end of this, you have a feature, and I'm gonna let Brian talk. Brian is helping us with that because engineers don't know how to do pretty. We just know how to do functional. So he's gonna help us make this pretty, but in the back of that, the bulb is gonna be the pond, and kind of the idea is maybe we have fountains back there. So as you're walking down the memorial, there's fountains in back of it and a pond area.
And the pond serves a couple of, the charter school, we all know is coming near there. That, they develop a detention, helps them, but it also gives us free dirt, which is an
Correct.
important part of making this project, fall within budget. So we're all hoping for the best on the
On the dirt,
testing
on
that
the-
you're doing.
On the dirt work.
And I'll stop there.
All right, I'm gonna ask Brian to come up and talk a little bit. When the mayor asked us to do this, I said, Mayor, I want to get an architect to help me because we can build the structure, but to make it look right and pretty, that's not really what we.
See, this same design has been around for a long time.
Yes.
David Bernard and that whole Veterans Committee David actually made Brian design it when y'all working together, and then it kind of sat on the shelf for many years. So now we've reawakened it because it never had a home. Now we feel like we have a spot that makes sense for it. So he was the most familiar with the design. He just had to dust off some plans.
Right. And like Walter said, there's a current area that's wooded, and we're gonna go and see what's viable and what's not viable. And so this layout may actually adjust and respond more to the actual site, and then use that backdrop as a setting, the pond backdrop.
And there was always a kind of a plan to be able to sell bricks. So Brian worked
Oh.
out where on
Yeah.
the surface, on the sidewalk where you're walking, we can do that there.
Yeah, those darker areas, we have space for paver bricks that we sell as a fundraiser. Yes.
Right, and we have a veterans committee that is, willing to get involved, and they want to memorialize veterans from the community, veterans and their family. This is a way, that they've expressed interest in selling those bricks, helping us sell them to help fund at least this portion of our overall project. So we really have kind of three projects going on all at once, but they work together. I mean, so far, so good. Questions for Brian?
Any questions?
So
Thank you.
tonight, the purpose tonight was to really just do a brief presentation, a high-level overview of the project. The next step that I would like to take is that I want to pull the finance committee back together. Many of the councilmen have sat in on recreation committee meetings and kind of helped get us to this point. But we are swimming, in my opinion, we are swimming at the very peak of our overall budget. So we need to take a deeper dive. I'm asking the finance committee to participate in that with all the professionals that are here tonight and myself, and look at where we, take a hard look at, see if we can save some money here, save some money there, because we've been operating at a high level. Now we can start thinking about, well, the street light is here, the street pole is here, the light pole, and the sidewalk is here. And if we do this, it might save us a little money, and we can get into the nitty gritty of the project before it comes back, giving y'all a chance to get us to 100% plans, and we can bring it, all the way back to the council for final budgeting. So that's the intent today. All right, no action on this item tonight, if everybody's comfortable with that. Thank you all. Item 4.1, resolution number 824-25, a resolution amending the 2024-2025 operating budget and revenues and expenditures to add additional funding and professional services in the sports complex budget for St. Julian Park for the contract with Fulcrum Sales and Marketing. Do we have a motion to approve?
Second.
So the finance committee and I actually met with Fulcrum Sales today and had a very good conversation about return on investment and everybody putting kind of skin in the game on that contract. So where we ended up was that we will extend their contract 3 months at a time so we can view what they're selling, how they're performing for the city, and what our return on investment is. And as long as they're performing at a good level, the contract will continue to extend itself. And it was actually their suggestion, just to kind of get us to a place where we were all comfortable moving forward. And I believe we left that meeting comfortable at that level. But please add if you can.
Yeah, the way that the resolution stands now, just fill the council in, is that it was going to be for a 12-month contract. So we were a little reluctant. We had a 3-month pilot, and they really showed we paid them $15,000 over 3 months, and they produced $47,000 in sponsorship. So the return on investment was there in the initial 3-month pilot, but we didn't want to give them a 12-month contract. So we found some middle ground, and we compromised, and we said, we're just going to give you the resolution is to approve a 12 months worth of contract to amend the budget, but we're going to meet back up every 3 months as a finance committee and make sure that we can quantify that we do have a return on investment. And like the mayor said, if they do, then we're just going to extend it 3 months at a time, and then we'll reevaluate it again in 12 months, and we'll go from there. So we thought that was the best compromise.
Tina, do you have public comment?
No public comment.
Any further council discussion?
District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4.
Yes.
District 5,
Yes.
at large. District 1.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Gerald, Fulcrum Sales is supposed to supply us with an amended contract to reflect the 3 months at a time tomorrow. So when I get it, I'll be sending it to you for a final review, and then we'll move forward.
Perfect. Thank you.
Ordinance for introduction, item 5.1, ordinance number 25-819, an ordinance of the city to adopt modification to existing sales and use tax ordinance. Do we have a motion to introduce?
Make a motion. Second.
I'm going to ask Gerald to give an explanation on this modification.
So the city received a letter from school board suggesting that we may want to revisit or modify our sales tax ordinances to address changes made by the legislature in the last session. Certain things, things like what's exempt, what's not exempt, what's considered a service to be taxed, what's not considered a service to be taxed. And so what we have here is a resolution simply adopting by reference all of the state regulations on, as to how, sales and use taxes will be applied, so that we will be on all fours with the state. We'll follow the same exemptions, the same coverages, in every respect.
And Jeff, the way it's written now is if the state makes a further exemption in the future, our ordinance just says we follow the state.
We're following.
So
the
we
state statute.
change as they change. We won't have to continue to visit this. If
That's the idea.
Tina, do you have public comment?
No public comment.
Any council discussion?
Question.
District three,
Yes.
District four. Yes. District five,
Yes.
at large.
Yay.
District one. Yes. District two,
Yes.
motion approved.
Ordinances for adoption. Item 6.1, ordinance number 24-818, an ordinance setting the city council meetings for the second and fourth Tuesday of each month, with the exception of the months of November and December, which will only have one meeting a month on the second Tuesday of each month. Do we have a motion to adopt?
Motion.
Second.
Tina, do you have public comment?
No public comment.
Council discussion?
Question.
District four. Yes. District five,
Yes.
at large.
Yay.
District one. Yes. District two.
Yes.
District three,
Yes.
motion approved.
That was the last item on our agenda. Just a couple of noteworthy items. Coffee and Broussard will be held this Friday at 7:30 to 9 in the morning at Préjean's. We hope you come visit us there for a little breakfast and conversation. And also a reminder that early voting starts this Saturday, February 1st. We have a special election going on in our area. February 15th is voting day, and you can early vote at the East Regional Library at Fabacher Field. So please get out there and exercise your right to vote. Thank you all for coming tonight. We appreciate you, and drive safely. Meeting adjourned.